Hey everyone, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my Tome Topple Readathon TBR. It starts today, hopefully if I upload this in time, which is the 9th of May, and it goes on until the 23rd of May, I think, so it's about a 2-week readathon, and it is mainly focused on reading tomes, aka books that are over 500 pages. There is a whole list of prompts, but I haven't gone focused on the prompts yet. I know some of my books do fit the prompts, and I'll sort of tally that up as I go along, but my main focus is reading some of the bigger books that I have on my TBR that I've just been looking to get to. I'll link the readathon announcement and links and stuff down below, and I'm going to try and get better at linking books that I mentioned in case you are interested in them. And I only have one book to actually show you today, the rest are not here, but still I would like to talk to you about them. So first of all, the first 3 books in my TBR are books that I do have physical copies of and have been on my TBR for quite some time. The first 2 have anyway, but the first 2 that I'm going to talk about I don't have with me at my boyfriend's place. I've asked my brother to take them off my shelves and I'll go get them from the doorstep sometime soon, hopefully before the readathon starts. But the first book I have is The Lies of Locke, Lamora, which is in the Gentleman Bastard series, and it is written by Scott Lynch. I first heard of this, I think I heard of it on Sam from Thoughts on Tome's channel, who runs the readathon, is one of the hosts of the readathon, and I really just wanted to read it for such a long time, and then I bought it from a charity shop, and I believe it's set in a fantastical city, and it's about a group of like ragtag criminals, Robin Hood, maybe just criminals sort of vibe. They're thieves, and apparently it's brilliant. I've heard such good things about it and I really can't wait to read it. And that one's definitely massive. And I know that I'm pretty sure one round of the Tome Topple they focused on it, so I definitely can't wait to read that one. But I just have to wait for it to get here or to walk and pick it up. And then also I have The Paying Guest by Sevenwaters. I don't know much about this. I know this particular Sevenwaters books because she writes historical fiction, is set in 1920s England, London specifically, and the reason I picked this up quite a few years ago now is because I have loved every single Sevenwaters books I have ever read. She's written 6 to my understanding, and I've read 4. I want to buy the 6th one, the last one, but I won't buy it until I've read this one because it doesn't seem to be sensible. However, I'm really excited to read it. I've loved everything she's ever written. She's written one of my favourite books of all time, which is The Night Watch, and she just writes fantastic stories, so I don't need to know anything, and I don't want to know anything about it. I think maybe a long time ago when I first bought it, I had a little look into the blurb and such, but no longer really care. The next book is another one that I don't have much of a knowledge about what it's about, and that is The Doors of Eden by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Sorry about that, I always trip up on a name like that, it's so tricky. And this is meant to be out this month. I've got a proof copy of it from work. However, I'm not sure if the date has been pushed back or if it is just coming out as normal, because obviously with everything going on I'm not 100% sure. However, I haven't read anything by Tchaikovsky, so sorry every time I pronounce it, and if I try and pronounce it again I always fuck it up and I always get really stressed about it, and yeah, so apologies for the butchering. Everyone I work with and friends of mine who love books were talking about it, saying that his work's really great and it's really good fantasy sci-fi I think, and I literally just picked up based on that recommendation or based on like vague murmurings of good things, so I don't actually know anything about it, but because it's fairly new I do want to, or upcoming, new to me and upcoming, I just dropped it on myself, I actually really want to read this as soon as possible. I'll probably start with this because I can start with this first thing in the morning before I go to collect my books. If I collect them today, actually, I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably start with this one and try and get a good chunk of it done pretty much straight away. And then the next one is one I have in my audiobook. I've had this audiobook downloaded for quite some time. It's let me just make sure I get the and of right. It's The Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness, which is the third and final book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. And this trilogy is about I can't remember the specific terminologies. It's about a young boy, and they live in a town where all the men can hear each other's thoughts. There are no women, it's just men, and they can all hear each other's thoughts, and it's about the implications of that. And one day when he goes into the woods, the forest, he hears a girl, and he sees a girl, and this is crazy because he's never seen a girl before, I'm far from aware. I love this series. I love the first two books. I thought they were brilliant. They're so interesting, and I love the audio narration, and I definitely been meaning to finish the third one for a while, but it's one of them ones where I don't want it to end. I don't know how it's gonna go, what is gonna happen. It doesn't seem like good things are gonna happen, so I'm kind of putting it off. But yeah, I'm really excited to listen to that. Hopefully that will be my sort of audiobook for the 2 weeks. And the rest I've got are ebooks that I found on Scribd. I went through my Scribd saved list and had a little look there to see what there was that I fancied. And I really have been using Scribd a lot, and I've been reading a lot of ebooks. So because I'm enjoying that, I thought, why not ride the wave? And I've got a few books that I want to include on my possible TBR. So I might read these, I might not. The first one I've got is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. So I'm looking down at my notes. I should probably lift them high so I don't have to down like that. The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell, and I know that this is a time travel fantasy. It's over 500 pages, and I think it looked really interesting when I first looked at it, and now I've just got it saved, and I'm just going to sort of delve into it and see what happens. And then I've also got The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, and I think this is a YA historical novel. I'm not sure if it's historical and there's like fantastical elements, or it's just historical. It's about a tour of Europe, maybe, and the main character, his best friend and his sister, I think. And I think there is some male feelings in here. I'm not sure if it's a fully fledged romance. I hope so. But it's raved about on BookTube, especially amongst the YA fans, and it's just something that I wanted to try to see if I enjoyed it, see what the hype was about. Then I've also got I've written the Sevenwaters trilogy by Mackenzie Lee, but actually I mean the Sevenwaters trilogy by Juliette Marillier, and actually I haven't the foggiest about what these books series are about. However, actually I think I read a bit about it yesterday, but I've heard such great things about Juliette Marillier from Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts. I've read a lot of books that she's raved about and really enjoyed, and she loves Juliette Marillier, and so I definitely have always wanted to try it. And when I was trying to think of tomes to read, I thought, oh my god, Juliette Marillier. So I looked on Scribd, there's the Sevenwaters trilogy on there, and that is meant to be quite interesting, and I'm excited to see what the hype is about, and see if I like it or not. And also we have The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is one I watched a video of Jean talk about last night actually, and she was mentioning how this was a real page turner, and she really enjoyed it, so I thought why not give it a try. And it's actually about, I believe it's set over the course of a weekend in which a woman dies, and each day the main character wakes up in a different body trying to find out who done it. Is a whodunit. So those are my books listed, and because obviously I don't have my bookshelves to hand very easily, and I didn't have many tomes with me, I haven't been able to sort of plan and meticulously pull together a TBR like I normally would, especially when catering towards the prompts. So what I've just done is I've just pulled together ones that I know I have, and then some from my ebook TBR. But what I think I will do is I think I'll vlog the process and just chat to you guys to let you know what I'm reading, because I like vlogging at the moment. But what I think is interesting is that I don't know a lot about a lot of them, so I don't have a lot of information, whereas some books that I've got I know quite a lot about, but these ones seem to be, maybe it's because they're the ones I'm putting off, I just don't get involved with them, but I don't dive too deeply into them. I've just got a few buzzwords that mean I'm interested in them, but the size then puts me off reading them straight away. I don't know, but hopefully I can make some good progress on my Tome TBR during this readathon, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.